Okay, the town hall meeting will be starting in 1 minute. 1 minute town hall meeting.
This it's good. No, they're all coming up.
Abby's going to use the lectern.
I'm waiting for them to give me that.
Give you the go.
Give me the go. I'm like, maybe that's not a bad idea. Are we good? Okay, it is time. We'll go ahead and get started. Good morning and welcome to our first town hall meeting of 2026. In the next 40 or so minutes, In the next 40 or so minutes, church leadership is going to provide an update on the happenings of the church. My name is Paula Curtis, and I'm doing the welcome and overview. I'm the co-chair of Leadership Council. And at this point, our agenda is shown on the monitors in the order that we'll be going through. We also have Louise Seavold taking minutes. Thank you, you're the best. And then Matt Wolf is monitoring our Facebook chat and working with the AV. Please hold any questions you have till the end. These are just an amuse-bouche of the happenings of the church, and I will turn it over to Pastor Abby. What word was that? Amuse-bouche.
Moose-bouche?
Amuse-bouche. It's a bite of food.
Okay, I learned something new today. I love it. Hello. I, of course, am the Reverend Abby Caseman, pastor here at Westlake United Methodist Church, and my task for today's town hall is to recap the celebration of Holy Week and Easter. And before I do that, I need to start by saying how blessed I am to serve alongside these leaders who are behind me here. Some of them have been serving for a while and offer us continuity and knowledge about how we minister here at the church. And others are new this year and show courage by learning new practices and offering fresh perspectives. All of them have a deep love for God and of this church. And for that, I am thankful. I also am blessed by the dedicated staff that I serve alongside. And many of them are here today. They too have a deep love for God and of this church, and they each lead their ministry area with passion, skill, and faithfulness. They have servant hearts to equip other leaders and engage people of all ages in discipleship. Thank you that we have the best church staff team in Westlake. Now, a few moments of Holy Week and Easter. On Palm Sunday, we think back 2 Sundays ago, even the littlest children were joyful. They were joyful worshipers of Jesus Christ as they walked down the aisles waving palms in the opening Hosanna parade. Also, that afternoon, Westlake United Methodist Church, we planted seeds. We planted 380 seeds of faith as we welcomed that many guests for the extravaganza. By offering hospitality and belonging, each person who served this event was a seed planter for the love and life that comes through the Easter story. Now, during the week, the power went out at the church for 2 days, and that did not stop the faithfulness of many to prepare for Thursday and Friday's worship. To name a few, and I apologize ahead of time if I left someone out, Debbie, Len, and Sharon prepared soup on the gas stove with the daylight through the kitchen windows. Lynn, Carol, and Earl set tables while Louise decorated upstairs and downstairs spaces. Jill cleaned in the dark with a flashlight. Chris moved rehearsals around, and the choir members sang beautifully on Friday night without even practicing with the musicians ahead of time. All of this was the work of prayer, creativity, flexibility, and cooperation. This week, one church member shared with me that her grandchildren who attended Easter worship were later that day singing, "Alleluia, Alleluia," as they were playing around the house. Another member shared with me her encounter with Jesus when she carried a cross up a flight of stairs. She was attending to her usual Easter decorating activities when suddenly and unexpectedly she realized what a struggle Jesus must have had. What a struggle he must have endured as he carried the cross, much bigger than the one she had in her hands. Finally, another member shared with me that this year Easter came alive for him in a new way as he was listening to the resurrection story. He had the courage to confront a long-held fear, and he tried something new to overcome that fear. In this way, he went through death and experienced a resurrection of his own. Praise be to God. These are just a few Holy Week and Easter moments that we celebrate today. I look forward to hearing many more. Thank you for listening. All right. And next up, I invite John.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Piszek, and it is my honor and privilege to be currently serving as the chair of the Finance Committee here at Westlake United Methodist Church. As was mentioned previously, I am one of the newer people in the role. I would like to take this moment to extend my thanks to Jean Gianfagna and all of the past and present members of the Finance Committee who have really put in some hard work over the last few years and had some difficult conversations and made some difficult decisions to get us to where we are today. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak with you on behalf of the Finance Committee and to share where we are, what we've been working on, and some of our plans for the future. First, I'd like to acknowledge something that's very important to us. Our church is more than a building and more than a budget. It's a community, a family, and everything we do financially is meant to support the mission, the ministry, and the people who make the church what it is. It is not just our goal to simply manage money, but to steward the resources that God has entrusted to us with wisdom, transparency, and responsibility. Over the past year, we've taken a close look at income, expenses, and the trends that do affect our long-term sustainability. We've seen areas of strength, faithful giving, strong volunteering, in the church, and ministries that continue to grow. We've also seen areas that we need to be more intentional. Costs continue to rise. We all know this, right? Gas is, whatever it is today. So that's just means our costs are going to keep going up, and that's something else we need to really focus on in the future. Every major expense category has been evaluated for opportunities to reduce waste while at the same time, not reducing ministry impact. Our goal is to make sure every dollar is used purposefully, and in alignment with our mission. A number of things that we've been working on, we try to follow some key priorities, transparency among those. We want to make sure that everybody understands what we're doing, what we have done, and the reasons why. Accountability. We've strengthened internal processes, improved tracking. Being new to the role, I can tell you, we get our financial statements every month, and we've got people on the committee that go through these things, down to the dollar to make sure nothing's being wasted or overlooked. Long-term planning. We're not just looking at this month or this year, we're looking ahead. We're evaluating our trends in giving, facility needs. We're trying to make sure there's no surprises that come along and we think we're doing good and all of a sudden, bam, this hits and now we're not. We're trying to make sure we're planning for the future. Today, just isn't about presenting numbers, it's also about inviting partnership. We need your prayers, your input, and your continued engagement. If you have questions, ideas, concerns, like I said, introducing myself, if you don't know me, now you do. Please approach me. We've got coffee hour. I'm always willing to talk to anybody. If you're able to give financially through service, please know that every contribution is greatly appreciated. I'd like to end with this. We are in a healthy place spiritually, and we're working hard to ensure we remain healthy financially as well. We believe God has more work for this church to do, more people to reach, more lives to impact, and more opportunities to serve. The Finance Committee is committed to doing our part with diligence, honesty, and faith, and with your support, we can continue building a strong foundation for the future. With all of that said, we can get into our actual numbers and talk about where we are financially as a church. So for January 1st of 2025 to December 31st of 2025, our projected income was $457,741. We beat that. Our actual income was $469,828.14, and that was up $47,000 from 2024. So thank you to all for that. Our projected expenses were $501,872.22. We came in well below that, $478,305.82, which was down over $10,000 from 2024. The projected deficit for 2024 was negative $44,000. We came in at just over negative $8 last year, so we blew that out of the water. Our current deficit, we were working hard to get our updated first quarter results. Our accounting team didn't quite get there, but she was able to provide us with some numbers yesterday. 2026, we're off to a great start. We're about $3,500 in the positive right now. So again, thank you to all for that. Contributions are up $8,000 from 2025 in the same time period, and expenses are down $3,000 from the same period in 2025. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for your time, your trust, and your commitment to the church, and I look forward to continuing to serve. Thank you.
Okay, meeting over, we're done.
And we're out of here.
Good morning, I'm Jane Lynch. I'm the chair of the Staff Parish Relations Committee. It is our task every year to develop short-term and long-term goals and submit those to our district superintendent for review, and then we meet with our district superintendent to talk about what's going right, what's a challenge, etc. So I'm just here to read what our goals are, and if you want a printed copy, let us know and we'll get that to you. You can send a request to me or to Lynn, and we'll get you a copy of what our short-term and long-term goals are, but I'm just going to read them this morning. Our short-term goal is that we will invite new and diverse people of all ages into relationships. To do this, we plan to invite new people to worship, activities, and events, including our coffee hours. Try to notice new faces around us and welcome them in Christian fellowship. Discuss welcoming practices at leadership team meetings. Invite others to serve. Continue our ministries in urban areas where needed. Now, our long-term goal, which is set for a 5-year type goal, within 5 years, we will strengthen our commitment to children and families through building relationships and ministries. And a way that we can look at this is to continue to promote Wednesday worship opportunities, story time for neighborhood preschoolers, promote servant-led ministry with youth and young adults. And I will say servant sounds a little formal. It's really volunteers, but we like the word servant because it talks about serving. So promote servant-led ministry with youth and young adults. Hold 2 family game night potlucks. Enhance digital tech and social media to increase engagement. Those are the goals. If you want a printed copy, let us know. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am Nikki Miller, and I'm here representing the Leadership Committee. I am very, very excited to announce that we will be forming a strategic planning committee that will help define the mission and goals of our church and the plan to get there. And this will be a plan to thrive and survive. We will be doing, as a part of this, a SWOT analysis. And if you're unfamiliar with that, that's an acronym standing for that we will be looking at our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats. And in light of that, our leadership team has been looking at our strengths. Next slide. Yes, thank you. So these are some of the strengths that we feel that we have, and there are many as a church. We have a congregation that is willing to serve, and they donate items and monies, and I thank you all for all of that. There are a lot of new people that are ushering, and I know my husband's really glad about that. And you know, a lot of people are stepping up, and that's amazing. We have a very thriving food ministry, which serves the near West Side community, and it's a beautiful thing. We have a strong music ministry. We have one of the largest chancel choirs in the region. We also have a women's choir. We have a bell choir. We do cantatas. We do children's musicals, and many thanks there to Chris and to Sam for those happening. We have a larger than average children's ministry, and many thanks to Ellie for that happening. We also have people who care about others, about our church, and about the community, and that's so important. We're a caring community. We have a congregation with talents. We have people who run AV and tech. We have people who step up and be leaders, good leadership, public speaking, hospitality, woodworking, general contracting, and many more. And all of these talents are being put together in so many ways, making our church a better church. We have a great location. Here we are on Center Ridge Road, and people go by and see our sign all the time. And you know, that's how we get people to extravaganza and some of these things that we do. We have wonderful facilities. We have a large parking lot. That's such a huge bonus. I mean, a lot of churches that are landlocked by communities and residential areas, they don't have this big parking lot. So if we continue to grow it as a church, that parking lot's there, so we have no worries there. We have a large building. We have an extra lot over there in a barn. These are all amazing strengths for our church. We have a talented staff. We have talented members of our church community who are open to change, and you're open to trying something different. And That's so important as we grow in the new century. We have a youth group that is growing with ascending members, and many thanks there to Chris, to Emily, to Ann Henkelman, who has stepped up with that, and it's wonderful to see the youth group growing. We have a collaborative vacation Bible school with community, and I remember when my kids did this. It was just such a beautiful event that my kids would be in vacation Bible school with those from Catholic schools Catholic churches and Lutheran churches, and they're like, "Oh, you go to church too," and it was just such a wonderful ecumenical event, and it continues to be. We have a strong Stephen ministry, and again, thanks to Grady, that's really an important part of our church. And so we will use and we will build on these strengths as we go forward into the 3rd century as a church. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Hallman. I'm the co-chair of the Leadership Council along with Paula. And I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about something that really keeps our church running, and that is the service, as has already been mentioned before. There are so many ways that members of our congregation are quietly and faithfully giving their time, and today I'd like to highlight a few opportunities where we could really use your help. First up, our trustees. This committee is responsible for maintaining our church building and property as well as the parsonage. And right now we're looking for 3 additional people to join this group. There are a variety of ways to contribute depending on your interests and your skills. If you're someone who's comfortable coordinating with service providers, we need help making phone calls and getting bids for work that needs to be done. If you enjoy more hands-on work, we have several work days throughout the year. Things like cleanup, spreading mulch, and even buffing the floors. And if you happen to have experience with plumbing or electrical work, we would especially value your help on occasional projects. We also sometimes need someone to be present when the building is rented to private guests for private events, just to make sure everything is running smoothly. And at the end of the day, what we really need is more people to share the workload. So please consider joining the trustees in some form or fashion. Second, our ushers. Every Sunday, we rely on a small group of people to greet everyone as they arrive, hand out bulletins, pass the offering plates, count attendance, and light the candles. And it's a simple but meaningful way to be part of the service and to help create a welcoming environment for everyone who walks through these doors. And as Nikki already mentioned, we're going to be forming a strategic planning task force, so if you have any interest in being part of that group, let us know. And finally, we have a lot of special events at this church throughout the year, like our summer car show that's coming up, and Nativity Fest, and the Extravaganza. And these events are wonderful opportunities to connect with each other and also with the broader community, and they always need extra hands to make them successful. So if you've been thinking about getting more involved, this is a great time to take that step. And whether you can give a little time or a lot, there's a place for you. Thank you.
Now is time for question and answers. Go ahead. Oh wait, there's a microphone coming your way.
Big voice, you probably.
Well, we want to make sure the people who are...
I have a question for Mr. Pishak. To what do you, I forgot your first name, that's what
John. Yep.
To what do you ascribe the increase in funds available? Is it because we've got more bodies, or are the same bodies more generous?
I would say a little of both, yes. Specifics have not been analyzed for the first quarter of this year, but in general, we do know that people have been generous in increasing pledges and increasing giving, and then we do have a variety of folks coming. Remember that even though you may not see everybody in worship every week, the average worship attendance is once a month. So we have a larger community of people than we may see each Sunday in church in worship. And so that's adding to our income as well. So I would say it's a mixture of both. Yeah, great question. Thanks.
I also think the stewardship campaign brought it to the forefront too. Oh, I also think the stewardship campaign kind of brought it to the forefront. It's something for us all to, not that my husband was involved or anything.
A few years ago, they had an inquiry about the adjacent lot and barn property next door. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because their needs wouldn't be conducive to the churches. Is there any conversation or talk about the disposition of that property in the future? And also, are we paying property taxes on that? I know the parsonage we pay property tax, real estate property taxes. The church we don't, but what about the vacant land?
So we don't pay property tax on that.
Okay.
I will say with the vacant lot, Barbara, you were involved with trustees as far as that.
Right.
That has been tabled for the time being, but it's certainly something that we can circle around, and we had talked about trying to figure out what the value of that was. You know, as an asset to the church, not that we want to sell it off, but what is it even valued at? So I think at this point, everything has been tabled on that. But it's good to have that, but hopefully.
Well, I think establishing a value for it would help the church get an understanding, so should an offer come up like it did out of the clear blue last time, there would be some understanding and give us some indication of where we stood.
We had gotten some quotes on getting it valued, and if I remember correctly, the appraiser basically said this is the value as of just today, but there were multiple parcels in there.
Correct.
So it's something that would be worthwhile to attend to just to get a value of it.
Well, it certainly is an asset to the church, and just kind of keep our eyes on that. Thank you.
As spoken by a true realtor. Are there other questions? Bill.
Is it still morning? Yeah, it's still morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Lincoln. Just a question for you, Nikki. Maybe you can expound on it. Within the analysis, the SWOT analysis, what are the projected weaknesses that we need to address as a church to be able to continue to move forward?
The Strategic Planning Committee, Bill, is going to be doing a complete SWOT analysis. And once we do that, I will have a wonderful answer for you. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but we're not there yet. We're just in the beginning process. We haven't even formed a committee yet. So the leadership committee looked at our strengths, but we really need to take even a deeper look at that, as long as with the witnesses, or with our weaknesses. And yeah, I'll have a better answer for you then. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to add, as far as the SWOT analysis, Louise Seavold had taken from the leadership minutes for like the last 2 years some common threads, and then at a couple of meetings leadership added what they thought, but it needs to be broader than that, because what a handful of people think is not indicative of what the whole team thinks. That's why today, you know, we have some tentative W's and O's and T's, but at this point, we need the whole church's support to work on this together. Are there other questions?
Can I add one? And we intend to, and we, meaning the Strategic Planning Committee, intend to do a survey and get your thoughts, because we want everybody's input into this, and we want your thoughts. So it won't be just a handful of people's thoughts, as Paula alluded to. So, yes, very important.
And Bob?
My question is there any planning being done for the permanent fix of the parking lot?
Is that a trustee question?
That's a trustee question.
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Well,
Yeah.
What did you say, Bob? It's a what question?
It's a
Is
financial.
there any planning being done for the permanent fix of our parking lot?
Yeah.
There's some areas right now that are semi-dangerous.
I agree.
Potholes.
Yes, so currently, the trustees are aware of the potholes, and it is something that will be on our next agenda to discuss. There is not currently bids in or a plan of repair for different parts. So it's something that the trustees are aware of and is going to need our attention. If anyone has experience with asphalt or if you know a business or a neighboring business or something that has a really nice parking lot, it would be helpful for us to get some vendor ideas. So if you happen to be in a place and you're like, wow, they really did a great job repairing this, or you happen to see something, we need to seek some input on this, because yes, the trustees are aware that this is an issue.
Oh, go ahead, Jay. Get to the mic.
Well, I was just going to say, so then you're saying that probably it won't be fixed by the time we have the car show on June 3rd.
No.
Because, I mean, it is pretty unsightly
Well-
and dangerous.
Well, and I want to say that 7 or so years ago, we did a basic patch job on some of the parking lot and got the parking spaces again, but we had limited funds and we did limited work. Are there other questions?
I have a question in regards to the church thinking about selling the property we're not using right now. The land is going up in value. By selling it, we're selling off a part of our asset. We don't pay property taxes, so I don't understand the reason why we would be trying to sell it.
It was looked into a few years ago because of the financial situation. Not to say it was the intent to sell it, but it's important to know what our assets are valued at should there come a rainy day that we would need to make a change.
If we sell the asset, we're not getting rid of our deficit. We have to find other ways to bring down our deficit rather than selling off our asset.
Which is why it hasn't sold. So I agree with you. We don't want to sell that land, but I think in agreement with what Barb said, it would be good to find out what that asset is worth. Not that you want to get to that point, but what do you have going on? But that's why it hasn't been sold. That's why it was tabled. That's why we continue to share the financial situation and how everything is going, because we don't want to sell off that land.
One last question. If you decide to sell it, does this become a trustee's answer or does it open up to the congregation? Who decides?
The entire congregation.
Thank you.
Barb, did you have another question? Barb has another question? It's not a question, it's just a statement?
Let's wait for the people online.
The church did not reach out looking to sell it. We were approached. Someone had an interest in it for a need, and we just evaluated and took it from there and found out that their need and our needs were not succinct with one another. So it's not like we went out to try to sell the property, but it made us aware that we had something of value, and we didn't want to find the expense of a professional appraisal, because that would be very, very costly. So you can look at tax records and various things to find out what the county is placing a value of the property on. So there were ways to do it, and that's kind of where we were going with it.
Are there, go ahead. Diane?
I have a question about taxes and the church owning property. Does the church pay taxes the way we pay taxes, or is it because it's a church, is a nonprofit? Is that, this is very simplistic.
Because of the church status, we're exempt.
Okay.
But not the parsonage, which is not the church.
The church, okay, thank you.
Speak now, forever hold your peace. So, if there are no other questions, I thank everyone for speaking today. And the plan is to continue do these on a quarterly basis, because for full transparency, it's important that you all know what's going on, and it's important for us that you all know what's going on. So I thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.